Oh, man. Last stream of 2018. This is it. This is all she wrote for like a week. Then we'll be back. But, you know, that's going to happen. Right? Isn't that neat? Happy holidays. I hope people tune in today. I know it's a holiday. People might have other things to do, like be with their family or cook. I got a lot of food to prepare today. I'm doing the 7-fish meal. I'm not in charge of all 7 of them. That'd be nuts if I was. But I'm in charge of some of them. And I got to do what I can for those. I got to do what I can. Might be a short episode today. Yay, someone's here. What's up, Matthew? Good morning. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas Eve if Christmas is your thing. Happy Hanukkah if that's your thing. Happy Kwanzaa if that's your thing. You get the idea. Happy time off of work if you're an adamant, insisting on having no affiliation. You know, like one of those non-believers that's, you know. I don't get those people, actually. Like I'm a non-believer myself. Like, I don't have any religious beliefs, but I'll still, like, wish someone a happy holiday. Because it's still a holiday. Like, I remember one time I said to my buddy, I'm like, hey, happy holidays. And he's like, well, I'm an atheist. And I was like, yeah, but, I mean, did you refuse? Did you go to work then? Like, were you like... And he's like, oh, no, I went to my wife's family's house and we had a really nice time. It's like, all right, well, then you still had a holiday. I didn't ask you what your beliefs were. I wished you a happy holiday. Anyway, what's up, Joseph? Good morning. What's up, Joshua? Thank you very much. Back at you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Griffmas, says Craig. I love it. Happy seasonal holiday, comrades and fellow bots, says Matthew. What's up, Omar? Good to see you. Howdy, howdy, Susan. Good morning, Karen. Thank you guys for spending part of your holiday with me. I appreciate it. This is, I couldn't think of a better way to start my morning than my last, the last Get Your News On with Ron stream for 2018. This is how we're going to go out. I thought about doing something post-holiday instead, but I was like, no, you know what? I got to do a little traveling, so I'd rather just do one last Music Monday to end the year. Why not? That's the way to end it. When's the first stream of 2019? Joseph, that is a fantastic question, and the answer to that question is January 2nd. Wednesday, January 2nd, we will be back. Yeah, I think that's right. If January 2nd's a Wednesday, that's correct. What did I put under the Christmas tree? I can't tell you that because my fiance might be able to hear this. She's home today. So she might be able to hear. And I don't want her to know what I got her. I don't want Lucy to know what she got either. So, you know, I can't tell you. I'm great, Daniel. How are you? What's up, Andrew? What's up, Dimitri? Good to see everybody. It tells me we're at about 25. Once we're at officially 30, we will start. And we'll dance like soldiers in the battlefield, right? We're at 30, says Joseph. 31. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I am Ron Placone, your host. This is our last show of 2018, and it's a Monday. So that means it's Music Monday. And it's a holiday. We're going to have a fun one. It's going to be a fun stream today. We're going to be chill. We're going to be fun. And we're going to be joyous in the fact that even though the world is chaos, even though things are crazy and difficult, you know, we at least got each other to navigate through the crazy news of the world together. That's a nice thing. That is a really nice thing. And let me check on that date real quick before it bothers me. I want to make sure that that January 2nd is in fact the Wednesday that we will be returning. Yes, January 2nd. It's a Wednesday. That's when Get Your News On with Ron will be back. We are going on a holiday break after today. Wednesday, January 2nd, we will return. And we will swing into 2019. Swinging strong. There will be a lot of information to go through by that point. Gonna be nuts. The holiday bliss will be over. I wanted to greet everybody today like I was like Ebenezer Scrooge when he wakes up Christmas morning. You know, like good day, go get the finest ham. Good day, tell Tiny Tim I'll fork out the money for his med bills. You know, like I wanted to do that. What if they would have, remember like in that movie where like Scrooge gives that kid money to go get a ham and like the kid does it and then like in between Scrooge forgets he even asked the kid to do that, you know, because he's rich and he doesn't give a shit. What if that kid would have just pocketed the money and bounced? Like, I say it's Christmas morning. Go buy the finest ham. And that kid was like, sure, old man. Yeah, I'll be right back. And then he's like, brings it back to his family. And he's like, I got dinner. What if he would have done that? And then what if that would have made Scrooge become an evil capitalist again? What if Scrooge would have been like, oh no, I told you can't trust the poor. Fuck off, Tiny Tim. Like, what if that would have happened? That wouldn't have been quite the resolution we were hoping for, right? That would have been a lot more sad. I don't know why I randomly think of that. Did you ever notice that pretty much every holiday movie, the theme is capitalism's not so great, and we should just help each other out in our community? Did you ever notice that? I mean, if that's the Christmas spirit, I guess I have it year round. I guess all of us have it year round. That's pretty much the theme of every Christmas movie. Like that's pretty much the theme. Maybe A Christmas Story is a little different because it's all about him getting that gun. Maybe that's like the subtle right-wing Christmas movie. And maybe that's why that's the one they play 24 hours a day. Maybe that's why the media plays that one 24 hours a day. They're like, this is the message you need to. It's not about charity or giving or community or not being greedy, or treating your employees with respect and dignity and treating them right. It's about giving your kid a gun, all right? That's what it's about. Watch this 24/7. And I know there's more to that movie than that. I actually think that's a fun movie. I like it. I'm not trying to, you know. And Joseph points out, to be fair, the gun doesn't give him the happiness that he expects. It's a lesson in how buying stuff doesn't necessarily give you happiness. That's right, because he shoots his eye out. But he has an amazing Christmas that he's going to remember for the rest of his life because, he has that fun time with his family. They have to go out to eat because the neighbor's dogs eat their turkey. And he realizes that's what matters the most. It was the journey, right? And if I spoiled that for anybody, you've seen it now. They stream it 24 hours a day on a freaking news net, or not news network. Like I think USA does it. Some cable channel does it, and then they do that for other movies too. I think there's a channel that streams Christmas Vacation for 24 hours. I don't know why my family does that, by the way. I called my parents on my way to a show Saturday night, which, by the way, Marsha, I saw your chat. Sorry I missed it, but it was wonderful seeing you too. Thank you so much for coming out Saturday night. It was great to see you. Marsha came out to the show on Saturday night where I did a set and Graham Elwood did a set and Jimmy Dore did a set, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, and by the way, for any LA people, the day after Christmas, December 26th, last Politics Night of the Dojo for 2018. Tweet me if you want to come to that show. I'll get you on the guest list. Come hang out. But anyway, yeah, they stream. So I called my parents on my way to that show, and they're like, yeah, we're watching Christmas Vacation for the second time. Like this channel just shows it nonstop. So they were just watching it. Then after the first go around, they were like, let's do it again. And I was like, what, did something change? Like, what changed for you? I actually asked them that, and they didn't appreciate it. I was like, oh, is anything... I was on speakerphone, and it was like my sister and her fiance and my mom and my dad. And I was like, oh, did anything change? Was anything different? Did Chevy Chase have some different lines second time around? And they were like, no, what do you want? Why'd you call us? We were having a wonderful, repetitive movie holiday, and you had to just be negative Nancy about it. And Mike S. says it best. Merry Christmas, shitter was full. So I guess that's our topic for today that we'll get into. Joseph, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Come do a show in Minneapolis. I will for sure be doing a show in Minneapolis next year. That's a promise. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. It's one of my favorite places to do comedy. And the Progressive Comedy Tour will for sure be coming to Minneapolis. It's not in our first half of 2019, so I can't tell you exactly when it will be because I don't know yet. But it could be as early as July because, in fact, it'll probably be July, August, or September. Because, Joseph, I love your city, but I don't like going there in the wintertime. And I guess that's one thing I am thankful for. You know, I am thankful that I'm at a place now where I get to choose when I go to places. That wasn't the case for me the first 10 years of doing comedy. The first 10 years, I had to go where somebody was willing to hire me. Now, whenever I tour, I get to kind of have a lot more say in where I go and when I go there because you guys come out and you have a good time, and that's changed my life. So, yeah, there you go. That's something I'm thankful for. Joshua, sorry you have to leave, but Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, etc., etc. Have a good one, man. Give my best to the fam. And yeah, Joseph, we'll be there. I love Minneapolis. Here's such a big geek I am when it comes to Minneapolis. And I know if you're not hip to Minneapolis or some of the music that we talk about, you might not know. But I actually took a picture of myself walking across the Grain Belt Bridge. And if you don't know why that's a big deal to nerds like me, it's because there's a band called The Hold Steady. They're from Minneapolis originally. Now the band formed later when they were all in Brooklyn, New York. But they sing about Minneapolis a lot, and in their song Party Pit, they go, "So we walked across that Grain Belt Bridge in a brand new Minneapolis." And so I actually have a picture of myself walking across the Grain Belt Bridge. And I have to explain it to almost everybody I show, unless they're also big Hold Steady fans. If they're big Hold Steady fans, I just show them their picture, and they're like, yeah! If they're not, they're like, okay, you're walking across a bridge. Good for you. And then Anyway, Minneapolis. What are your guys' favorite holiday music, by the way? That's what that was the topic I wanted to start on. I know we're having just a fun chill one today, so it's a little looser than usual. But let's talk about some of your favorite holiday music, some of your favorite holiday... do movies too, why the hell not? Let's talk... I know it's Music Monday, but it can be Entertainment Monday. What's some of your favorite holiday movies? What's some of your favorite... Because honestly, I need some new ones. I was with my fiance last night, and we were watching a little bit of football, and then we were... she was like, "Can you put something on?" Because she was baking cookies. And I was like, "Yeah, what do you want me to put on?" She's like, "Can it be, like a Christmas movie?" And I was like, okay. Well, I don't know. Sure, I guess. And we didn't find one. We ended up watching... What we ended up doing is we ended up watching some of Springsteen on Broadway. Springsteen on Broadway is on Netflix now. And that, for anyone not in the know, that's like his solo one-man show thing. It's like kind of theatrical, but it incorporates him playing his music. And it's kind of just the story of his life. And if you're a Springsteen fan, it's really cool. If you're not a Springsteen fan, you're probably not going to dig it. That's just how it goes. But I'm a big Springsteen nut, so that's what we ended up watching because we didn't find anything... we didn't find anything holiday related that we wanted to watch necessarily, because a lot of the things they offered, like the classics, you had to pay for them because they weren't actually on Netflix. They were on iTunes or something like that. And it's like, do we really want to pay for a movie we've both seen probably 30 times? And we decided no. So that was what happened there. We ended up watching Springsteen on Broadway, which was fine with me. I was totally happy with that. So that's how it went down. But anyway, what are some of your guys' favorites? Give me some new recommendations. DMX, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Christmas Vacation gets a shout out, of course. August Burns Red, cover of Carol the Bells. I've never heard that. That sounds awesome. Die Hard gets a shout out from FYI Nation. I wanted to float an idea. Progressive reads, ? What do you mean by, like, do you just mean books that have progressive ideas in them? Like, what do you mean specifically by that? Because, yeah, if you're just looking for some things that I recommend reading as of recent that have progressive bents, I'd recommend Chris Hedges' most recent book, America the Farewell Tour. I would recommend Ralph Nader's newest book, which I have not read yet, but it's how the Democrats, or called the Rats Control Congress or something like that. It's just Ralph Nader's newest book. I forget the title off the top of my head. But it's a fiction book, but it really dives into how we can kind of take back power. So I recommend that book by Ralph Nader. I recommend Chris Hedges' newest book. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. The Rats Take Over Congress. There you go. Jeremy nailed it for me. The Rats Take Over Congress. Craig Robb gives a shout out to the Pogues. They have the best Christmas song. I like U.S. Bombs 1225. I like, what else do I like? Oi to the World by the Vandals. That's a fun one. And I like, my favorite holiday song, and I think the only true holiday song that we have, because it's not a Christmas song. It's not a Hanukkah song. It's a human song. It's about the human condition. It's for everybody. And that is Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. The greatest holiday. It's not even really, it's just basically a song about love. And that is the greatest, most important holiday song, in my humble opinion. I think that Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen is the greatest holiday song. It is a beautiful song. It is a poetic song. It is a song about the tragedy of the human experience. Meanwhile, the grace and bliss of the human experience at the same time, because despite all of our flaws, I said flogs. I'm still waking up, guys. Despite all of our flaws, we're able to love and we're able to come together. And to me, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what your background is, no matter what perspective you're coming from, if you're a human being, and we're all human beings, that's something that unites all of us. So Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah. That is my answer for the most important holiday song. See what you guys are saying. Bernie's newest book gets a shout out. Listen Liberal gets a shout out. Scrooge gets a shout out. People love to hate that movie, and I thought it was fine. I thought, I was like, what's wrong with Scrooge? It's a fine movie. People love to hate on that for some reason. I mean, it wasn't Bill Murray's greatest work. I don't think anybody would say it was. But everybody loves to hate on that movie. I don't get it. I mean, I guess I kind of have, more apathy than anything else when it comes to, really scrutinizing holiday movies. Who gives a shit? But Bad Santa gets a shout out. I've never seen it. Nirvana. So, I love Nirvana. And one thing, you know what? I don't know if this is what you're referring to, Andrew, but I'll give a shout out to this right now, if this is what you're referring to or not. So, there is an album out there where it's Kurt Cobain, and he is playing the backup guitar music for oh god, now I'm drawing a blank as to the writer's name. Wow, I'm totally just having a complete William S. Burroughs. All right, sorry. I just had it to. I'm like, who is it? All right, so William S. Burroughs does this spoken word piece where it's about Christmas Eve, and it's about just a fucked up thing that happens on Christmas Eve. But it's William S. Burroughs, and Kurt Cobain is doing the backup guitar music for it, and he's basically doing these weird half riffs of like classic Christmas songs, but then like covering it up with fuzz and distortion. It's so badass. And the story, I'm not going to spoil anything of the story because you guys should totally check it out. But yeah, William S. Burroughs has this story about a Christmas Eve occurrence, and Kurt Cobain's doing the backup guitar music for it. The Priest They Called Him is what it's called. Andrew gives that a shout out, so that's probably what Andrew was referring to. The Priest They Called Him. It's a real. I actually own it, and I would listen to it. You know, I used to live in my car. You guys know that about me. I was a touring comedian. I lived in my car, and I would listen to that album whenever I was touring around the holidays. And I'll share one of my more fun holiday stories with you. I did a show in Charleston, South Carolina, and it would have been last night. It was December 23rd, 2015 was the year on that. And I was tired, and I decided I was going to drive all the way home after that. And when I say home, I mean Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was going to go have Christmas with my family. So I was going to drive from Charleston to Pittsburgh. That's about a 9.5 hour drive. But this was when I was really road dogging it. So 9.5 hours, that was nothing. That was nothing for me. That was just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I'll be home by morning. So I go, and I'm getting ready for the gig. And I'm thinking there's probably going to be nobody at this gig. So I decided I'm going to have fun with it. So I packed up my guitar, which didn't take much because I lived in my car. So my guitar lived there too. So I had my guitar with me. What I decided to do for fun was after my set, I was going to close. If I liked the audience and they were a fun audience, I was going to close by playing 1225 by the U.S. Bombs, because that's kind of a funny song. Like it's kind of an anti-holiday song. So I thought that'd be funny to do. So I think there were 5 people in the audience at this show. Nobody showed up because it was like the day right before Christmas Eve. And I don't know why the venue decided they were going to have comedy night, but they decided they were going to have it, which was fine with me because I got paid either way. But there were about 5 people in this audience. But they were fun. Everybody was drinking. Everybody was having a good time. We were riffing. You know, when you have a show like that where it's really small, you kind of like interact with the audience more. You personalize it more. You kind of play with them some, because you can't just go and stand up there and just do your material as if it was a full room. Like, you can't do that. It's not really going to work. I mean, you can still do material, but you have to adapt it because of a small audience. You know what I mean? So anyway, it was fun. We were having a good time. Everybody liked it. We were having a good time. So I brought out my guitar, and I was like, look, I'm not a guitar act, but this goes out to anybody who maybe the holidays don't connect with you as much, which I'd imagine since you're here at this show drinking right before Christmas Eve, maybe that applies to you. And I played 1225 by the U.S. Bombs. So to bring the story full circle, we had Steve Davis, the bass player for the U.S. Bombs, on this show recently. Maybe some of you guys remember that stream that we had him on as a guest. And I told him that story off mic, and I ended up sending him that video, and he got a kick out of it. I don't know if he played it for the rest of the band. I might be a little embarrassed if he did. But he got a kick out of it. He said it was really funny. So I did show that video. And, you know, my buddy Patrick is a big U.S. Bombs fan, and he's also a comedian. We've toured together before. And I was on the phone with Patrick recently, just kind of catching up. Patrick lives in Huntsville, Alabama, with his wife. And we were just kind of catching up and bullshitting, talking about the road. And I told him, I was like, dude, by the way, I had Steve Davis from the U.S. Bombs on my show. And he was like, that's freaking awesome. And then the first question he asked was, he was like, did you show him the video? And I was like, yeah. That was his first question. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and the other reason I brought up that story is because on my drive home from Charleston, South Carolina to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on December 23rd, 2015, I did listen to that album because I had it in my car, and I listened to the William S. Burroughs short story with Kurt Cobain on guitar, A Priest They Called Him. It is a really fucked up story. And it's a short, I mean, the whole album's about 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure. It's not long, But yeah, I listened to that. That was me getting into the holiday spirit. And I also listened to On the Road. Or no, not On the Road. Get in the Van. I'm sorry, On the Road. What am I? Dude, I listened to Get in the Van by Henry Rollins. I have a copy of that and it's read by Henry Rollins. I would always have a copy of that with me when I lived in my car. And I would listen to that album and I would remind myself, hey, it could always be worse. You know, because it was a tough time in my life. I was living in my car. But, you know, when you're a traveling road comedian, they give you a hotel whenever you're working. Black Flag did not have such a luxury. They would have to just stay in their van. They would also have audience members that would throw piss at them and stuff like. I never had that happen to me. I've been heckled before. I've been heckled a lot, but I've never had a show where somebody's thrown piss at me. Knock on wood. So I would remind myself, you know, it could always be worse. And I would listen to Get in the Van a lot while I was on the road. So anyway, there was that. Omar says, I saw the U.S. bombs in 2001 in Anaheim. It was a killer show. That's freaking awesome. Dave says, when you are older with a family, Chevy Chase's Christmas movie is super. You will see someday it will mean more. I already like it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll like it even more someday. I don't know. But I already like that movie. I'm just not like a huge Christmas movie guy in general. Like I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't really get into it. Oh, Mike S. gives a shout out for the Dickies version of Silent Night, which is a fantastic show, or a fantastic version. Yeah, the Dickies do Silent Night. They do like a punked up version of Silent Night. It is totally badass. I really dig that a lot. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Occupy New Paradigm. Pearl Jam does a Christmas single every year. I never knew that. And it usually shows up in May of the next year, they said. I never knew that. I actually never knew Pearl Jam did that. That's funny. And Scrabble Addy asks, is William S. Burroughs the same guy that did Naked Lunch? Yes. Same guy that wrote Naked Lunch wrote this short story with Kurt Cobain on guitar. And you guys are really giving a shout out to Bad Santa. I've never seen it. Bobcat was hilarious. Me and Bobcat had a 20-minute conversation once about art, about film, about creativity, about what it means to chase your dreams. And then I saw Bobcat a week later in the Sirius Satellite Radio studio, and he had no idea who the fuck I was. I didn't take it personally, but I was a little bummed. I saw him in L.A. It was before I was living in L.A. I was just visiting, and I saw Bobcat. We had a long conversation. We talked about film. We talked about art. We talked about a recent article that was a really good interview with him in Vice. We had a long conversation. We talked about some mutual friends we had. We shook hands. And then about a week and a half later, I was in New York City doing some stuff. So was Bobcat, apparently. I saw him at Sirius Satellite Radio Studios. I said hello. He did not remember me at all. Like, he kind of was like, why are you saying hi to me? Showbiz! Anyway, guys, I did want to show you guys a few things here. Here's something. And we'll be chatting a lot today. It's going to be a light show. But I wanted to show you guys this because we have a little bit of a happy news. And this concerns Movement for a People's Party. So I know some of you are familiar with Nick Brana. We've had him on the show before. He is the director of Movements for a People Party. And recently, the organization Slack, which is how they do their messaging, Slack suspended his accounts. They exterminated, actually, both of his accounts. They exterminated the Movement for a People's Party account and Nick Brana's account. And they said they suspected he was a foreign actor. Nick Brana is in Washington, D.C. His organization is dedicated to the states. He worked in politics. He still does, but he used to work in politics. He worked for Bernie Sanders. He still does work in politics. He's just doing his own thing now. And they suspended his account. So he went to social media. He started tweeting. People started retweeting. And here's what happened. Slack admits attack on Nick Brana and MPP was baseless issues and apology. The people won this one. So here's what they said to him. Hi there. Thank you for your patience while we investigated your account access. We've reviewed your case and discovered that an error was made and have restored your access to all workspaces. We updated our system for applying geolocation information, which relies on IP addresses, and that led to the deactivation. I think this is them trying to make excuses, but okay. We are very sorry for this mistake and for the alarm it caused you and your team. We appreciate your understanding, and we will endeavor to do better in the future. Please let us know if you continue to experience any difficulties accessing your account. Regards, Julie. Slack is our digital office. We use the messaging platform to coordinate our organizing. Late this Wednesday, the multi-billion-dollar company shut my accounts down. This is Nick talking, claiming they had originated abroad. And here's the original notice they sent him for anyone curious to see it. In order to comply with the export control and economic sanctions laws and regulations promulgated by the U.S. Department of Commerce and the U.S. Department of Treasury, Slack prohibits unauthorized use of its products and services in certain sanctioned countries and regions, including Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Syria, and the Crimea region of Ukraine. We've identified your team account as originated from one of these countries and are closing the account effective immediately. So they accuse him of being from one of those countries. And he's not. But they won this one. The good guys won this one. I told Nick this happened on Friday. I told Nick I'd talk about it on Monday. So I am talking about it. And fortunately, I have a little bit of holiday cheer, happiness about it. And whether you like what the Movement for a People's Party is doing or not, I know some of you like it, some of you don't like it. But regardless of that, I'm sure that you value free speech. You value the exchange of ideas. And you don't favor authoritarian censorship. So this is a win for the little guy here. So there's a good holiday cheer for you. I also want to talk about this. Someone put this in the Reddit. You guys know we have our Reddit subsection, reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. And this is something that's going on. New York sets tougher standards for marketing internet speeds. Why do they have to do that? Well, because private internet service providers like Comcast and AT&T, they'll claim they're selling you a certain speed, and if you take the time to do the speed test, you find out you normally don't get that speed. They're bullshitting you so they can charge you more. This has been going on for a long time. New York's going to set tougher standards for marketing speeds to make that harder to do. You know a way we could solve that problem permanently? Municipal broadband. Santa baby. Bring me municipal broadband now, city-owned. That'd be awesome if Santa did that. Santa just shows up and he's like, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. You have your own internet now. The ISPs don't have control over it anymore. Here's your own mesh network. It works for all residents in the city. Ho, 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 ho. And then just a contractor at Comcast is like, well, what about me? I didn't do any of this. I'm just having a job here. It's not my fault. I'm not the CEOs that are price gouging people. And Santa goes, ho, 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 I have you covered. And he does a little flick of the finger, and then the guy turns into a city employee. And he's like, whoa, I have better pay and benefits now. And he's like, oh, ho, 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 that's because Comcast didn't give a shit about you. Ho, 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 ho. And he's like, what should I do now? I'm still on my shift. And he goes, no, you're not. It's the holidays. And you actually get holiday pay and time off now. The internet's working fine. Go home and spend it with your family. Ho, 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 ho. Wouldn't that be amazing? How shitty was that Santa impression? I'm improvising this stuff. What are you going to do? All right. So let's get to the article. Which, by the way, municipal broadband would solve all this. New York sets tougher standards for marketing internet speeds. And that, by the way, the person that sent this Reddit to me, they mentioned that too. They're like, if we had municipal broadband, we wouldn't have to worry about stuff like this. ISPs will have to prove they can deliver the performance they claim. New York isn't just asking Charter to clean up its acts. The state has reached a settlement with Altice, Frontier, RCN, and Engadget parent company Verizon that will have them adhere to stricter standards for advertising internet speeds. They'll have to back up their claims with regular speed testing, ensure they have enough network capacity to handle advertised third-party services, and make clear that speeds on Wi-Fi won't be the same as with a wired connection. Yeah, because they overstate all that stuff. The companies will also have to make direct financial commitments to both improve their networks and offer compensation for some customers. These include a $25 million investment on Frontier's part to boost its upstate capacity, while Altice will pay $5 million to subscribers who didn't get equipment capable of fulfilling expected speeds. All of the providers will have to ensure they provide modems and routers that can handle advertised speeds, including free replacements. This is cool that they're coming down on the ISPs, but you know what would be even cooler? If the mesh network in New York City, which yes, they do have one, expanded and covered the city, and they gave Comcast and Charter and everyone else the boot. And coming up on 2019, you guys know that that's the cause of that I'm working on. And come 2019, I'm hopefully going to assemble a better ground game to make it a reality here in Pasadena. I've tried a couple things. All those things have not yielded any permanent results yet, but I'm still fighting. I'm still pushing, and I'm not going to give up. And there's a couple of people that have reached out to me saying that they really want to take the realms of the campaign and help. I'm hoping to connect with those people and make this a reality in 2019. And I know a lot of you are doing the same in your communities. That's freaking awesome. It's inspiring. And I really do have a lot of confidence that one of us on this stream is going to succeed. One of us is going to become the news. And we're going to cover one of us bringing municipal internet to our community. I have all the confidence in the world that that's going to happen. And when one of us does it, the rest of us are too. I really do believe that. So you know what? I don't have beliefs when it comes to spirituality. I don't really acknowledge a higher power. I guess I'm agnostic, but I do believe in you guys, and I do believe that people still have power at the local level, and I do believe in causes like this one. And there have already been victories. It doesn't take a lot of belief because there's already been victories. And I believe one of you guys is going to be another victory story. Maybe it's going to be Chris out in Indianapolis. He's gotten the DSA to work on municipal broadband. Maybe it's going to be some of the folks in Florida who have reached out to me. Hopefully it's going to be me too. Hopefully I'm going to be a success story too. But I'm fighting for it. I'm not giving up. And I think we're going to win this one. I really do. But in the meantime, it's cool that New York's at least cracking down on the ISPs. And here's a little bit of movie news. Or no, you know what? We'll go here first, and then we'll go to the movie news last, and then I'll go to the chat to end the year. Not just end the stream, to end the year. Right? Boom. Sorry, Trump. Most ISIS recruits in America aren't immigrants, a new study suggests. I bring this up today because isn't it amazing that this holiday season there is a GoFundMe to help fund a racist policy idea, which is the border wall. Isn't that amazing? And it's raised millions of dollars. How depressing is that? Only in the United States would people start a GoFundMe for a billionaire who's had everything handed to him his entire life for a bogus campaign promise he's probably not going to be able to keep. And I hope he's not going to be able to keep because it is a massive waste of resources. The wall is a massive waste. Oh, by the way, it's not even a wall anymore. Now it's just a bunch of spiky spikes sticking up out of the ground. I don't know if you saw that MS Paint image Trump tweeted out. So, but they started a GoFundMe. But according to this article, hey, guess what? Most ISIS recruits in America aren't immigrants. Ask someone to close their eyes and picture a typical homegrown American recruit for ISIS. Chances are the image that springs to mind is a brown-skinned person with an immigrant background. Likely ties to the Middle East. But this new study, and I just want to kind of get to the results of this study. All right, so perhaps most notably, individuals radicalized by ISIL's influence have ethnically and racially not tended to be Middle Eastern, North African, or South Central Asian descent. Only 26% of persons fit this profile, compared to approximately 53% of al-Qaeda recruits and supporters. Conversely, about 65% of U.S. persons drawn to ISIL since 2013 have been either African American or white. So there you go. So maybe stop demonizing people based on where they come from. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do that. Here's another one. So I wanted to share that article because I do see the parallel between people wanting to pay for a wall because they believe that these immigrants are coming for their jobs or they're sending their worst. Maybe there's actually nothing to back any of that up, because there isn't, by the way. We have about a net zero immigration. There isn't anything backing any of that up. Just like there's nothing backing up that people in the Middle East are the only people that are ISIS. So there you go. New study just disproves that. And check this out. Vice turns the life of Dick Cheney into entertainment and stays true to his terrible evil. If you're looking for something to watch this holiday season with your folks, here you go. Vice is an outstanding new movie about Dick Cheney's rise to power. Trying to make the former vice president's life genuinely funny and entertaining must be the final boss level in filmmaking. But writer and director Adam McKay pulls it off. This is according to John Schwartz, who has seen the movie. I have not seen the movie. I just wanted to give a little thing about it, because you might be wanting to go see something this holiday season. Moreover, he literally may be the only person in America that could. He founded the Upright Citizens Brigade in Chicago. So let's see here. Let's see what they say about the movie. For audience members who are normal people, McKay uses everything in his bag of tricks to pull Cheney's villainy back into history, and does it so zestfully that no one will have any problem remembering it when they leave the theater. In its deepest cut, the movie makes a nod to the most damning facts about Cheney and the invasion of Iraq. As Cheney and Bush discussed the 1991 Gulf War during a 2000 meeting, Cheney states that wartime presidents are always popular. So it's good to know they kind of do justice as far as capturing how evil Dick Cheney is. And, nothing says holiday joy like remembering an evil former vice president. I'll probably go see it. I wanted to see it anyway, so I'll probably go see it. And I just thought I'd share that little article in case you were wondering. I'm going to be going to the movies with my family at some point. What are we going to go see? Well, consider Vice. I'm going to go to the chat today. We're going to chat it up, and that's how we're going to dismount for the year. Let's see here. Let's see. Statutory points out nobody talks about a Canadian wall. The only way that will ever happen is if Canada builds it. If Canada's like, you know what? We're really sick of your shit. We're tired of this. Ron, let's talk about the incompatibility of open borders. Why? We don't have open borders. We have border security. Just like every other country, we have border security. We had border security before ICE. And this country is a lot like espresso. Better without ICE. Why should we talk about something we don't have that we're never going to have? And Social Security and healthcare. Okay, Social Security is important. Healthcare, we need Medicare for all. Joseph says, I used to live next to the Canadian border. There's already technology way more advanced than the wall that ensures that people don't come in illegally. Interesting. Universal income. Universal basic income. Thoughts. I I'm for universal basic income. However, it needs to be coupled with a lot of policy related to housing. There needs to be rent control along with it. And there needs to be, I think, a jobs program as well. If we just have universal basic income with nothing else, with no other types of protections, there's a chance it could be ineffective because it would just be, if you're getting $1,000 a month and then your landlord goes, oh, everybody's getting $1,000 a month, so I'm going to jack the rent up by $1,000 or by whatever, well, then that UBI doesn't really do much for you. So, yeah, I'm for the UBI, but I think we need a lot of other stuff as well. I think that if a UBI is implemented properly, it could be a great thing. If it's not implemented properly, it could be useless. And the biggest thing is rent. The biggest thing's rent. There needs to be some protections in there because if you don't, then there needs to be protections in there because the landlord is getting $1,000 a month too. A landlord's getting $1,000 a month too. Jobs program, but I see your point. So you're against the jobs program? All right. I mean, I don't know. I see our roads, and I see crumbling roads. I see crumbling infrastructure. I see no plan for sustainable energy. I see no mass rail in this country. I see the need for Medicare for all, and all of that comes with jobs. Jobs come with all of that. So the idea that we can't have a jobs program in this country, I think, is light years beyond bogus. I think a UBI is a jobs program. It is not. It is not. Not without all the other stuff I mentioned. UBI is not a jobs program. Because, again, without proper rent control, without proper protections, a UBI could just mean absolutely nothing. So, jobs will be gone, face it, robots are coming. Yeah, I do think there's some of that. I do think we are going to live in a world with less jobs. So that's why, again, I'm not against a UBI. I just say a UBI with nothing else wouldn't really do much for you. Jobs guarantee is better than a UBI. I agree, but why do we have to pick one or the other? Why do we have to pick one or the other? Honest question. I mean, maybe there's a reason, but I don't understand why we have to pick one or the other. We need living wages, of course. I meant this. We need healthcare and Social Security, but we can't provide for the rest of the world. Who was saying we should? I mean, I agree with that statement. What are you talking about? What do you mean? When did I say we need to give healthcare to everybody in the world? I never said that ever. Ron Placone, greetings from the Germans. Hello, Waldhund, and please say hello to Berlin for me. It's one of my favorite cities in the frickin' world. Please say hello to Berlin. What do you think about worker co-ops, or in your case, artist co-ops? Worker co-ops, I am 110% for them. Artist co-ops, that's where that chapter in Paracon, if you read the book Paracon, where they talk about participatory economies and planned economies, that was the part where I was like, yeah, not sold on this idea. The idea that creatives could gather together and just agree on who gets to do what, that's just sort of ridiculous. Like that's just like we're all gonna get together and be like, okay, you get to go on tour. You're putting out an album this year. You're doing that book project. You got to take a year off. Like that's how about people do their art, and if people like it and they get to do their thing, great. If they don't, I mean, there's certain areas. Something like that doesn't work on everything. Now, worker co-op, I'm 110% for. 110% for worker co-op. Artist co-op, on the mass scale, I think there's no way something like that would ever work in a million years. But on a micro scale and on different micro scales, it very well could work. Again, we're talking about entertainment. It's a different set of rules. But like, you've seen a lot of artist co-ops on the micro levels happen. I can't talk today. When you see record label collectives, when you see record labels run like co-ops and collectives, where the bands help make the label sustainable, and they all put out their music together because they have similar types of music, they have similar ideals, they have similar politics in some cases. So, yeah. Mike S. brings up that Rough Trade was a co-op. Yeah, so I'm all for stuff like that. I am 110% for stuff like that. I'm just saying this idea that there's going to just be one huge umbrella artist co-op and we're all going to agree on what we do and when, that's just not possible. But the idea of micro co-ops, similar to worker co-ops, I'm all for them. Some of my favorite music has been put out by those types of things. Discord Records was in many ways a co-op. Epitaph kind of started that way. Bad Religion released an album on a major label so they could give money to Epitaph. They gave their advance to Epitaph because Epitaph was in trouble. Ron, do you have any predictions for 2019? Yeah, we're all going to get municipal internet in our frickin' communities because we're not going to stop and because we give a shit. Boom. Edward, I love Bad Religion. Me too, Edward. Daniel, UBI is a safety blanket for capitalism to keep it thriving so we don't need revolution, so we don't revolution for jobs. Maybe. I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. It could be, but I don't think it has to be. Fat Mike is a good man. I agree. He made some mistakes this year, but he is a good man. I agree with that. Let's see. UBI works everywhere else, and I believe it could work here. I think a UBI could work here. We just need the other stuff I mentioned. Heart on my sleeves. What do you suggest is best first step for local municipal broadband? Showing up to a town council meeting and bringing it up. I think that's the best. That's the best first step. Chris, I wish Indies DSA would hop on the Muni broadband train. I thought they were. I thought you said you got them on board with it. Keep trying. And I'm going to try for my DSA too. Ron, do you like Anti-Flag? Yes, I do. I've hung out with Justin a few times. He's a really good dude. We've talked politics a lot. Well, not a lot, twice, and it was years ago. But he's a good guy, and I'd love to try to reconnect with those guys. We both have the same hometown. They still live in Pittsburgh. Statutory Grape, do you think there will be a yellow vest movement here? Yes, I think there already has been. We had Muni Internet in Burlington, Vermont, and our neo-lib mayor sold it off. Wow, send me some articles about that if you don't mind. I am not familiar with that, and I would really want to learn more about that. If you have any articles about that, please email them to me, ronplacone.com. Jusif, Tulsi 2020, I'm with you. I would like to see Tulsi 2020 as well. Omar, I'm south of Pasadena, but I hope you get municipal broadband, dude. Well, hey, fight for it south of Pasadena, too. And we're working on it, and thank you for the kind words. And, hey, if you're not doing anything the day after Christmas, Omar, come out to Politics Night at the Dojo. Last one of the year. Guys, I hope everybody has an amazing holiday. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have an amazing one. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just hope you have an amazing holiday. We've already covered our thoughts on the holidays, so we don't need to do that. But, guys, I'll shout out some dates. January, I'm in Florida. Come see me. Gainesville, Orlando, Jacksonville, Coral Gables. I want to see you soon, Florida. March, New Orleans, Pensacola, Lafayette, Louisiana. Get your tickets. April, Texas. We are going to be in Houston. We are going to be in Fort Worth. We are going to be in San Antonio. We're going to be in Austin. Go to ronplacone.com for tickets. All tickets are available except for Austin. Those tickets are coming real soon. But April 15th, April 15th, we're going to be at the Velveeta Room in Austin, Texas. May, we're going to be in Salt Lake City and Boise. June, Washington, D.C. We're coming to the East Coast. Tickets available now. And if you want to see us in other towns on the East Coast, let us know because we're booking June East Coast dates now. Rest of the country, we're coming in the latter half of 2019. Minneapolis will be there. Chicago will be there. Seattle, Northwest will be there. Portland will be there. Indianapolis will be there. Detroit will be there. So keep an eye out. Europe, we're hoping to come. We're really hoping to come. If you can support this show on the sustainability end, please consider doing so. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a give what you can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album, and you get to come to my shows without paying a cover. How about that? Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. And have a great holiday. Guys, you make this show possible. This show wouldn't exist without you guys. I couldn't do Get Your News On with Ron without you guys. That's just... Everyone says that about their show, but in my case, it's literally true. Like, I couldn't do this show by myself. You guys are my executive producers. You guys are my co-hosts. You guys are my fact checkers. You guys are my my quality assurance. You guys are all that stuff. And I couldn't do it without you. So I hope you guys are all happy with the gig. And you'll keep coming back in 2019. We're going to take a break for the holiday. We'll be back on January 2nd. Wednesday, January 2nd is when we will return. It will be the same time. It will be at 11 a.m. It'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, that's 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's the holidays. I'm loopy. What can you do? I had a couple drinks last night, you guys. I haven't had breakfast yet. And I'm going to be cooking. I'm making 3 of the 7 fish, you guys. I'm making 3 of the 7 fish. And then I'm going to bring it over to Pasta's house. And we're going to have a 7-fish feast. Thank you guys for making this show possible. You guys are the best executive producers a guy could ever ask for. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I hope you think about what you're thankful for. I'm thankful for a lot of things, and one of the things I'm thankful for is you guys and this show, because it helps keep me sane in this crazy world, and I hope it does the same for you. Lucy says happy holidays, too. She's asleep on the couch, but I'll send her everybody's love, and I will see you guys in 2019. In the meantime, stay safe. Have a wonderful holiday. Have a happy new year. Peace.